Previously on Balls.
And we've chatted a couple of times during the course of the year to Telford Vice, and he joins us on the phone again. How's it going, Telford?
Hello, Darren. Not so bad, yourself?
All right, thanks. Are you winding down for the year, or is it not stopped for you? Do you go all the way through?
No chance of that. It's the busiest time of the year for cricket riders. You know,
Yeah.
it's all happening, and some of us are probably quietly happy that there isn't a Boxing Day test.
Absolutely. I was going to say a bizarre year for you, because normally you kind of know exactly what's coming. But yeah, we've got a T20 game, no Boxing Day test, and the New Zealanders coming over.
Well, exactly. Well, I'm not sure why they should bother. You know, they're leaving the best part of their team at home, aren't
Yeah.
they? And you know, it's a whole other thing to get going on that.
Yeah, I mean, how do you see that whole story? That's a bit bizarre.
It sounds like a complete mess, to be absolutely honest. Ross Taylor is one of their finest players, and they seem to be just messing him around completely. He's gone on the media offensive and said somebody at New Zealand Cricket is not telling the truth, and of course he's not naming names because that's how people get sued. But it doesn't take a genius to work out that the essential conflict is between Ross Taylor and the coach Mike Hessen. Yeah, there's a lot that people aren't saying, but it seems as if Ross Taylor does feel, or it doesn't seem, Ross Taylor certainly feels as if he's been badly mistreated and messed around, and I wonder if he'll ever be back for New Zealand. It's a great shame.
Oh, come on, Telford, you know, I mean, it's been that kind of year. Chris Gayle, West Indies, comes back. Kevin Peterson, England, gets back. Ross Taylor will be back.
Well, yeah, the Kiwis are a lot more sensible than either the Poms or the West Indians. I'm not sure that'll happen, but we'll see. You know, Mike Hessen is not bulletproof himself, so let's find out.
All right, cool. And as we wrap up the year, pretty safe to say England, South Africa, or South Africa, England 1-2 by a fairly big margin, maybe.
Absolutely, very for the Proteas in particular. Went off to New Zealand, won there, just sort of finding their feet in that series. Just won the 1-0. You know, 2 draws and both of them weather affected, but you could see they were just finding out who they were and what they could do, and then went off to England and in plain South African blossomed them at the Oval in the first test, and that kind of set the tone, and you know, won that one 2-0, and then went off to Australia. Different kind of series, a slow burning series really, and it just grew and grew and grew in the intensity with it, and South Africa just saving their best for last at the Wacker and winning that one 1-0. The Poms, well, they came unstuck against South Africa in a big way at home, but certainly showing in India now that they've got what it takes.
Just from an Indian point of view, I see Duncan's made a couple of changes. He's under a bit of pressure there with the fans, as you will be if you take that kind of a pasting from any side in your own backyard. I'm glad he's brought young Jadeja in. They say he's the next big thing in Indian cricket. But people also calling for Sachin's head as well. Is there something maybe to be learned from Ricky Ponting sort of leaving when he did? Sachin still has some cricket left in him before he should decide to hang up the bat.
I think in Sachin's case, it almost doesn't matter what's left in Sachin and how much cricket is left in him. You know, Ricky Ponting was a very revered player in Australia and of course across the world, but nothing comes close to the public adulation for Sachin Tendulkar. And it's almost as if he should rather have a public opinion poll than when he should retire, rather than make the decision himself. He is slowing up. You can see it in his reflexes. When he was out here for the Champions League T20, there were a couple of times when, you know, the old Sachin Tendulkar would never have been undone by the deliveries that undid him in that tournament. So he certainly is slowing down. I think if he was an Australian, put it this way, if he was an Australian, he would have been gone by now. He's not. He's Sachin Tendulkar, and that's a whole different ballgame.
He decides when he goes.
Exactly. It's you hope he decides when he goes, and you hope that there isn't too much pressure on him. Either way, he has shown himself. I've been pretty close to him at times during my writing career, and you're amazed at how calm the man is. He is very much the eye of his own hurricane, and let's hope it stays that way, and he gets to make that decision.
Moment of the year for you, cricket-wise?
Probably KP's 100 at Headingley. I've never seen a test innings like that. I don't think I'll ever see a test innings like that again. And it amazes me that a complete idiot of a human being can play a test innings like that.
All right, and your cricketer, all round, not batsman, bowler, but just if you had to pick a cricketer of the year, who would it be?
Hashim Amla. just amazes me. There's this, I've asked him twice now in press conferences, do you have any limits? Because I don't believe it when he says, well, I don't think about limits. He's just a very different human being. And there's just, surely people have limits. Cricket is a game of limits. There's a boundary, for goodness sake. It pitches outside leg, that's the limit, and those kinds of things. But, Amlo just doesn't see those things. It's ridiculous. He makes no sense to me as a person. And I think a lot of people will continue to be fascinated with him, and just the way he played in Perth. Let's take 2 steps towards cover and see what happens, and suddenly everybody's on the wrong foot except Hashimamba. He's the reason I watch cricket these days.
And what would you like to see most of all in cricket next year?
I would like to see no bonus scandals, please. I would like to see DRS disappear. I really would. Get this thing out of there and give the game back to the umpires.
No, if DRS had disappeared, we would have lost the Perth test.
But that's fine. We probably would have won a few others that didn't deserve to.
Sure.
That's what I would like to see. No DRS.
I'm
no
shocked.
bonus scandals.
I'm shocked.
And what else? A Boxing Day test. I'd like to see. Actually, what I'd like to see is the Proteas getting over their phobia of playing a test match in Durban. For goodness sake, folks. I think half the problem is that they're going to live in Umhlanga instead of in Durban.
Yeah, the Beverly Hills is far too nice.
Exactly.
All right, Telford, listen, thanks a lot for chatting to us during the course of the year. Have yourself a great holiday, and we'll catch up with you in the new year sometime.
And yourself.
Don't work too hard, buddy. Cheers, man.
Cheers, Telford.
There we go. That's Telford Vice joining us on Ball's Visual Radio.
Gee whiz, I can't believe that comment on the DRS.
This is Ball's Visual Radio. Darren, Simon, Kate and John. Weekdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central African Time. Balls.co.za